what's up, everybody? Brent from BrentSpeed. Thanks so much for watching BrentSpeed TV. Today it's a dyno 24 GT automatic. Wanted to make a video like this, added the other slew of dyno videos on YouTube so you guys can compare. But we're gonna go down, we're gonna take a look at the engine compartment. We are gonna watch that pull. We're gonna go inside the car and take a look. But hey, thanks Rice Ford in Warsaw, Indiana for giving us for this video. You can open the description. You can send a text to Jeff. Maybe you want to buy this. Maybe you want a different one. They're awesome guys up there in Warsaw. But Doug's with me. Let's go take a look. All right, before we watch the dyno pull, here's what it is. All right, automatic, 10-speed automatic. The 87 octane that comes in the car from the factory. Picked it up, had 15 miles on it. Doug, come down, take a look. Hey, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you're gonna think this is cool, but maybe you've already seen it. Gen 4 Coyote, killer setup. Here's the big deal on this, the twin throttle bodies. It looks really cool. Totally got the double induction right here. It's a sweet setup. Factory rated, this one right here. It's a 401A car, 480 flywheel horsepower. And then of course, if you get the active exhaust, 486, or you get the dark horse, 500. But it's really neat. So you got the old Gen 1 back in 11 to 14, Gen 2, 15 to 17, Gen 3, 18 to 23. Now this is called the Gen 4. It's a sweet setup. And the biggest thing about this engine to me is just the way it looks. But enough of that, check out this dyno pull. I hope you like that dyno pull. Now, I'm going to spend some time right now, go over these numbers and explain how all this works. It's going to be educational for a lot of you that don't really understand how this works. But if you do, you might just want to cut out and watch one of our other cool videos over on BrentSpeedTV.com. Here's what we have going. All right, automatic transmission, 87 octane. This is a dyno jet. We rate these in SAE. We are going to talk about that. I will tell you this car right here. So 2024 GT, 401A, 480 horsepower, highest horsepower, naturally aspirated, plain GT Ford has made to date. And of course, you can get some exhaust upgrades, get up a little bit more, or go for that dark horse if you want that 500 horsepower. But come over here, take a look, Doug. Here's what we have going. So I brought up 3 different gear pulls, all right? We dynoed this in 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'm gonna explain how this works. Now, a lot of you might be like, don't even understand. Like, you just look at the number and be like, that's how much it makes. Well, these cars from the factory have a speed limiter. So if you're gonna make a pull in 7th gear, you're gonna hit that speed limiter really low RPM, which we did, we knew we would. So we made a pull in 6th, because you can go up higher RPM before you hit that speed limiter, and a pull in 5th, just for fun, which made good power as well. But I wanna explain how this works. So come here and check out these numbers. DynoJet SAE smoothing 5. We'll talk about that. This is the 5th gear pull. 410 roll horsepower, 87 octane, up at 7,100 RPM. See that RPM right there? Torque 359. Torque's not going to change a whole lot in these pulls because the torque comes in, you know, in that area, 49, 5,000 RPM. But next we have right here, so this is the 5th gear pull. Here's in 6th, 404. But we're limited down to 6,700 speed limiter. And then just for fun, hit in 7th, 382, but we only went up to 5,600 speed limiter. So you just come over here to try to get an example of what that means. 7th gear on an automatic on these cars are your 1-to-1. All right, that's the gear you would typically dyno in. So this is the green line right here. So let's say we're looking right at about 5,400 RPM. All right, this is 5,400 RPM, 366 roll horsepower in the correct gear. All right, and then in the wrong gear, 5th, which allowed us to go higher RPM, we were 358. So about 8, let's say, real horsepower difference right there, which tells you if you were in 7th, the correct dyno 1-to-1, and ran that all the way up to 7,100, which is what we did in 5th, you'd be 8, 10, 12, 14 real horse higher. But not bad numbers. I mean, this is a bone stock, off the showroom floor, 410 in 5th gear, wrong gear, and you know, that's kind of, it is what it is right there. It's just a dyno. Dynos are used for, we use this for tuning. It doesn't really matter what gear, if you're tuning a car, dynoing in, you're trying to do before and after comparisons. But in a situation like this, where it's a factory stock car, you're trying to see the horsepower, the speed limiter is going to kick your ass on it, and you're not going to be able to run it all the way up. But pretty cool ride right here, 24 GT. We're going to go inside in a second. I want to show you a couple cool tech. The tech is huge on this car. So my two favorite things, one, dual throttle bodies, just because it looks cool, but the tech in this is insane. I'm not going to do a giant video on the tech in this car right here. I suggest you search around YouTube. You'll find long, like half-hour videos of people going through everything this does, which is amazing. Or hit up your Ford dealership, you know, and get in one of these and play with it, because it is super cool. But there's a dyno, explain the numbers, 87, 10-speed auto, and 24 GT with like basically no miles on it. I think as this thing gets broken, numbers might come up a little bit more. But all right, Doug, let's go get inside this right here, look a little bit of the tech, and we'll wrap this up. All right, like I said, I want to show you a few things on the tech on this. Car is off, I just have the key on, but search around YouTube. You can find videos of people going over every option on this, which is pretty amazing. But here's a couple of coolest things. So you have your cluster theme. This is just a normal mode right here. Hitting over on this, you can pick all these different clusters, which will change this right here. All right. So maybe you want a sport mode. All right. We're going to change that a little bit, which is really neat to change that. When I left the dealership, before I left, boom, who got to do the Fox body, 87 to 93. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I grew up on right there. I love that. But another funny thing, when I was messing with these, is this mode right here, calm mode. Look at this. Wow. Look at that. You got the tiny little speedo right, or the tiny little tack. That's it. So I thought that was kind of funny. But that's your basically cluster themes. But when you're driving these cars, I love the modes you can do on these. So I like drag mode, or like a track mode, hammer it, automatic, boom, bark the tires in second gear. That's awesome. You can just go through and like pick different things. Yeah, you know, sport mode, and maybe you want to do a drag strip mode. Some of these will default your traction control or advanced track off by default, but it's fun to play with all this. And there's so many other track apps you can mess with. Again, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time showing you how all these work, because there's videos out there that already do a really good job of that. You can just get on YouTube, search for it, and it's pretty neat. So that's it right there. And one other thing I want to say is, Doug, try spinning that camera around. I know you're pretty close to me right there, but I logged all these dyno pulls. I noticed a little something funky at high RPM on this GT with the throttle blades. I don't believe they stay open all the way at redline, or as you're approaching like over 6,000. So I don't know what's going on with that yet. We will. You know, these PCMs are locked as of right now. They won't be later. You know, you're watching this video October of, you know, 2023. So down the road, we're going to have access to that. But I don't know if the reason is because maybe the dark horse, the throttle blade stays open all the way to redline, and that's where the extra power is coming from. Or maybe Ford Performance is going to release like a stage 1 package with a couple like air filters and a new tune, and their power gain is going to come from keeping that open all the way. But I definitely saw some funkiness with the throttle blade. Like, not driving bad. I mean, the car drove awesome. It'll rip the tires. But I think there's definitely, when we have access to tuning, more room on the table in the future. And again, we are only running 87 octane. But hey, I'm Brent from Brent. If you have any questions, leave that comment. Happy to answer. Check that description. I'll put a link to Rice Ford. You can shoot Jeff a text. He might give you a deal on a 2024 if you want one. He can order you whatever you want. They're in Warsaw, Indiana. That's pretty much it for today. Check out our other videos and subscribe and notify us up to date. Thanks for watching.